Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to moosareacts News at 10. What's happening, people? We're going to catch up on tonight's news and what's been going on during the day regarding Man United, all things Man United. First and foremost, if it's your first time on the channel, don't forget to subscribe and get involved. And also like the video so more people get to see it. Enough love for everyone that's leaving comments and we're able to discuss, different opinions. I saw someone say that how can, be against Mount and then I'm out here asking for Camavinga. Listen, that's another story. I might have to come back and do a video on Camavinga and the reality of his injuries. Are they as big as what people think they are? But nevertheless, guys, let's get into the news straight away. Nagelsmann. Man United are being linked with Nagelsmann. And Nagelsmann is starting to come up as the real contender to the Manchester United manager job for Michael Carrick. Because everyone said it. I don't think anyone has a difference of opinion that if Luis Enrique becomes available, he's the man for us to get into the hot seat. But then there's this Nagelsmann that's coming up now, and a lot of people want to see Nagelsmann in the job. I'm not too sure. Do you know what I mean? I've seen what Nagelsmann's done at Leipzig, and then I saw what he done at Bayern Munich, which, I can't remember the last Bayern Munich manager that didn't win the league or do something while he was with them. And that's not to say that he's not a good coach or he's not a good manager, but I just feel like, do I want to be back here in 12 months, 18 months, similar to Amarin, talking about a young manager, a hip manager that everybody wanted in and came to Man United, and the culture and the club was just too much for him and it didn't allow him to just concentrate on what he wanted to do, which was coaching. And then you find ourselves looking for, dare I say, an interim like Michael Carrick again. I don't really think I want to find myself there. I want a manager to come in where the levels, and I'm not saying his levels are not higher than Carrick, but I want to say that I don't want there to be any doubt in his body of work and what he's achieved to what Carrick is doing now. Because it's not a mean feat to come in for any manager and have the higher win percentage that Carrick has had in his first 8 games. It's not as easy as people might think it is, and it's a difficult thing to do. And I feel like Carrick has created a momentum that I think deserves a chance, at least a season, to see it out and to stabilise the club. I just feel like a World Cup summer is always difficult. Can we just stabilise Man United? Can we stabilise the club, people? Can we just be stable enough to get the midfielders in, get us, competing and playing in Champions League football, get us in the latter stages and have us playing good football? Can we just get back to that rather than just jumping straight away and be like, yeah, we're going to change it all up again and we're going to get the players trying to make this happen with a new manager like Nagelsmann? So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not too sure, people, man. I'm not sure what your thoughts are. I know a lot of people are going to be like it's night and day between the two of them, but it's night and day between the two of them when we're not judging it based on Manchester United and the job that you have to do at the club here. And I think Carrick has proven that, in his first stint as interim and again in his second, that he has what it takes to be a Manchester United coach and manager. What I would like to see, though, is Carrick get supported with his backroom staff. I would like to see Wilcox and that, pursue a well sought after coach, a number 2, or just someone in the coaching setup that can come in and have that high level ability within the coaching system and just do what we saw similar with Alex Ferguson when he used to bring in like Carlos Queiroz, like bring in the right people to make it happen. That's what I would love to see at Man United, and I think that would put us in a better stead, keeping Carrick, but at the same time, supporting him to get the right people in. Guys, the team is in training. They're in Ireland. Photos have come in. The man them are about. We got Euro there, Heaven, Zertsky. I can see Bruno, Shaw. We know Dorgu's out there, Martinez. So a lot of the people are back in training. It's a good sight. It's good to see Man United in training. 1 week away from our next game? Like this time next week, we would have played on the Monday, and we will be doing maybe I might do a review on the same night, to be honest. But this time next week we would have played and we would have known our score. Hopefully it's a win for us against Leeds. and it allows us to just, continue to solidify our place as third in the league. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, this time next week we should have played, and we should be, talking about a good win, and happy to get players back to push us into that next phase, and of just, like I'm saying, solidifying the top three. I think the top two race is gone. I think City are going to push the type of wins that they've had recently, back to back in the cup games, beating Arsenal in the final, then beating Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. I think City, they mean business. I think they're going to be having a push. I think it's going to be quite difficult for us to try to catch them and finish second. But nevertheless, nobody even had us in the top 4, top 5, let alone solidifying the third position, which Villa have got their players back and are ready to have a push themselves. So I think we got to have one eye over our shoulder and make sure that we don't take nothing for granted and go out and win our games and just solidify that spot, and then just look towards the summer and getting those players in. One of the things I would want to talk about is this man here, Endrick. A lot of people, Endrick aka Bobby Charlton, a lot of people, including Saeed, were thinking that this was not the guy, and they were kind of doubting his ability and what he can do. And there was a lot of laughter about, some of his performances at Madrid, but I think he's always done well, and I think he's always had an eye for goal, and he's got a dangerous left foot, and he reminds me very much of Mason Greenwood in terms of a young player, that has that belief in him, that can score goals out of anything. He's not got a right foot like Mason, but he's definitely not shy with his right foot, and I think what he's doing at Lyon and how he's turned up at Lyon like, listen people, I'm the big dog, I've just come from Real Madrid. Some players get sent out on loan and they're still timid when they get there. He's got sent out on loan like, you know what, you know where I've just come from. I've come from Real Madrid. I'm that guy. I'm the guy Real Madrid bought at this age because I'm about that life. And he's turned up on his first game and he's just licked off like bare shots, scoring goals, assisting, dinks, all types of goals. And if Man United are looking for another forward, I would love to see someone like this come in. I'm telling you, what he does, the type of striker that he is, how he presses, how he plays the game. I would love for us to go and get someone like this in from Real Madrid, and I think they're going to be ready to let him go. And I would love to get a player in of this ability, and I love everything about him, and the fact that he even knows Charlton, and just has that insight, and what he says that on the FIFA Legends game, which he's played a lot of old school legends, and seeing how FIFA rated them on the game, he's then gone and researched them, and then he's just fallen in love with everything about that. Just to have that story become full and see him turning up at Old Trafford, playing for Man United would be something amazing and something different to see. I would love to see that. I know what you guys think, because I'm not really looking for a striker, because like I said again, I think Zertsky for me is our best striker. A lot of people don't agree with that, but for me, I believe Zertsky is better than Sesko, ability-wise, as a footballer. I think he's better. They're different strikers, they're different forwards, and they bring different things to the game. But when you're trying to hold the ball up, lay it off to a 10, or lay it off to like a one of the wingers and bring people into play, then he can't chat to Zertsky when it comes to that. And then those neat and cute finishes that Zertsky has as well in the locker, he can't chat to them to that. He's a better like striker of the ball and can score like proper striker goals than Sesko. But I feel like what Zertsky will offer this team is totally different. But I get what Carrick has done, because Carrick has spoken about Zertsky and spoken about his attributes and what he loves about him, and it's the exact same things that I mentioned. But when you're playing one game a week, you need to get one of your strikers into that momentum. You need to get them into that rhythm, and you can't get both of them into rhythm with one game a week. Had there been more games and we were playing cup competitions I think he would have then, because he's put his hat on Sesko, which you got to put your hat on one of the players. You know what I'm saying? You got to choose. And I'm not saying that if you choose Sesko, it's like you've done something crazy. I get it why people go that way. And I would have got it if he went Zerski, but he chose Sesko. So he's got him the rhythm of playing more regular in these one a week games, so that you have a striker that can actually score goals. And I think that's been the detriment of Zerski's, that we haven't got more games for him to do that. And I think he's had that conversation with him, and I think Zerski still feels very much appreciated by the manager, because he knows, had there been more club competitions, that's where Zerski then wins his position in the starting 11. That's where he plays well in the cup games, where you can't drop him for the league game now, and then he plays again well for the league game, and then he holds on to his league position up front. And I think he hasn't had that opportunity, because, like I said, we got knocked out of all the club competitions and we're playing one game a week. So I think that's why Zerski stays. But nevertheless, if there's an opportunity to get a loan in and to get Endrick in on loan, and to get him away from Leon, then that will be something I think Man United should look at. And again, we keep on getting linked with this guy. What do you guys think? Ndiaye, good footballer, lovely on the ball, beautiful to watch. The type of players that we all love to see at Man United, love to see at Old Trafford, and just love to see in the Premier League. His ability on the ball is second to none, and it's something that we love to see. And as Rant says, we don't really have wingers no more. We have these inverted wingers who come in, play 1-2s, and always are coming into the centre of the park to take on shots, and they don't really wingers who go out wide anymore. So I think he would fit in well at United. I think he should be our number one pick if we want to add something in the forward line based on what we already have. And I would love to see him come in at the club and come in on the left wing there. Can you imagine? I don't know. We play up front. You know, it could be a cup. It could be a cup game, FA Cup. We got Zerski up front, footballer. Cunha in a 10, footballer. Ndiaye on the left, footballer. Ahmad on the right, footballer. Then our two new midfield signings. I don't know. We're lining up behind them with like Beleba and Kobe. Don't get me excited, people, man. Is this FIFA or what? Don't get me excited. This is what I'm trying to talk about. Like, yeah. Hopefully next season should be something that we guys are much more as United fans excited about. Whatever the combinations are, I think we should be excited as a fan base, and we shouldn't get too caught up on who might not come in to kind of put a doom and gloom on the club right now. I think we're in a good space, and I know everyone's looking forward to games, and it's just good to see that as a fan base now we're talking about who should come in so we can play a better style of football and finish better, rather than, brother, this manager has to go, we need to do this, he's concussed, you know what I'm saying, it's a madness, all roads lead to the dugout, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, yeah, we're tired of that, you know what I'm trying to say. So it is what it is. But yeah, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to see what's going on. I think tomorrow's the Mandem Show, so I should be on the Mandem Show on Saeed's platform. Don't forget to check out Saeed TV. I'm sure you guys are already on there. I'll be on there taking on all comers. That's where it's a Royal Rumble on the Mandem Show. Everyone's on there fighting for their lives to get their opinions across. And you know, we're opinionated on there. But recently we all been agreeing, but sometimes you got to take on the final boss, Noreddin. You don't know who the final boss is on the Mandem Show. Noreddin, you see, when you take on all opinions, the final opinion is Noreddin, because he goes deep into the club and about the Glazers and the impact that they're having on us. So if you can defeat his opinion, that means you've completed the game, because he's definitely the final boss. But until then, I'll catch you on the Mandem Show tomorrow, and then back on here for some updates on transfer news and what's going on. I'm out.